Hello everybody, Emma here. Thank you for joining me today for a backbending practice leading up to Cobra pose, Bhujanghasana. Cobra is a foundational backbend, not an easy backbend. So we're going to work slowly, doing some elevating actions, so lengthening through the spine, and some twists and some side body work as well, to get us ready to practice a low cobra and a higher cobra, and also to work on some strength with the muscles, the deep muscles supporting the spine. We're going to start though in a comfortable kneeling position, and I'm currently in hero pose. I'm sitting on some flat blocks, toes pointing back, thighs gently rotating in. Now, if you don't have anything to sit on, or if you don't like hero pose on your knees, the tops of your feet, etc., please feel free to take any comfortable seated position, such as cross legs or legs away. Okay, let's drop the shoulders down and gently draw the navel in towards the spine, engaging Uddiyana Bandha, and lengthen the crown of the head away from the tail. Now we're going to come back to this action throughout our class, and first of all, it's a really important action in yoga generally, but especially as we work into back bends. We always want to think about lengthening as we move into our poses, using the inhale to help us grow. Allow the shoulders to relax. Maybe close your eyes for a few moments as we allow the body to settle. Now, allow the eyes to open back to the light with a soft focus. Let's sweep the left arm up into the air. Bend the elbow and then reach around and use your right hand to gently help that elbow back a little. Stretching out into the shoulders, and you might also feel it in your tricep as well. Good. Let's roll the shoulders. Right arm up, bending the elbow. Take hold with the left hand. So shoulder and tricep. Gentle stretch. Good. Okay, let's roll the shoulders a few times. Now, I want you to come to the back of your mat. Get rid of anything that you're sitting on. And we'll do cat-cow at the back of the mat. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And when you're ready, start to move through a few rounds of extension and flexion for the spine. So inhale, tummy down and chest forward, lifting up the tail into your cow stretch. And as you breathe out, wrap the tail under, round your spine, chin in, cat stretch. And I'll do a few more of these. Let's do 2 more of each. And 1 more of each. Okay, so when you come back now to your neutral spine, the reason why we're at the back of the mat is because our next pose is puppy. So for puppy, I want you to stretch your arms out in front of you, and then either drop your forehead to the mat, which is quite strong for the shoulders, or bring your forearms down and just let your head drop. So one of those 2 options. Keeping the hips high over the knees. The final option is to drop the chest and gaze forward. I'm going to stay for another 3, 2, and 1. Okay, from where you are, come back to a table. And in fact, let's come to the middle of the mat now. Next pose, downward facing dog. So let's curl the toes, push into the hands, straighten the arms, hips up and back. The legs don't need to be straight. You can have a nice bend in them. And in fact, having a bend might help you to feel a bit more lengthened through your back, which might be a sensible thing today. Spread out your palms, fingers push firmly down. Now, keep your left foot down and sweep your right leg behind you. And shoulders forward, knee to chest, and then step your right foot through. Give it a hand if you need to. Let's keep the back knee off the mat. Push down in your left hand, and then reach your right hand into the air for a low lunge with a twist. Gaze up to your right hand if that feels okay. And then right hand down. And 3-legged dog. Take it back. Okay, and then downward facing dog. Let's do that on the other side. Left leg into the air. Shoulders forward, bring your knee towards your chest and step through. Helping if you need to. Keep your back knee lifted, right hand down. And inhale to take your left fingers to the sky. Optionally looking up. Stay with your breath for 2. And 1. And then left hand down. And 3-legged dog, take it back. Good. Both feet down, downward facing dog. Let's stay in stillness in down dog for a few good breaths. Okay, from here, we're going to jump into a seat. So bring one leg forward, then the other, and I'll turn to the side to face you. All right, we're going to go out into wide angle with the legs. So go as wide as it feels comfortable for you to go. And then we'll bring the right foot into the top of the left thigh. So a revolved head to knee pose, or a variation of it. Let's turn slightly to the right. And then take your peace fingers and grab your big toe, or place your hand inside or on your shin. And then reach up with the right hand. And then side body stretch, flexing over, flexing, stretching. And then either look at your toe, look straight ahead, or turn your gaze and look up at your right palm. Actually, there's another option. You could look under your armpit. We'll have 3 more breaths. And then let's let go of the toe, sweep up, come behind, have the fingers, right fingers pointing back, and then inhale to open. So lift up through the front of the heart, through the chest. Reach your fingers high. And then come back to where we started, and in fact back to wide angle, and then we'll change. Left foot in, a little turn towards the left, and then take up your position, foot or shin. Reach high with the left hand, and then take a flex over. So remember to choose your gaze point, whatever works for you. Good, let's release. Inhale and reach up. Left hand behind and right hand reaching up. Lift your heart up. Gaze up perhaps. Keep pushing the mat away or the floor away. And let's bring it back. We'll go back to wide angle. And then bring yourself to a comfortable seat. Okay, now we're going to come over to our front and we're going to do a locust pose. before we practice Cobra. And when we practice Locust, I want you to focus not only on lifting, but lengthening as well. So right at the start when we were sitting in here, we're focusing on lengthening through the spine. And you'll continue that action in your Locust, but I also want you to lengthen through the legs as well. So we're really trying to create as much space as we can between the crown of the head and the tips of the toes. So lengthening and lifting. And when we lift, from the chest, from the heart center. And it doesn't really matter how far we lift. And especially balance it with your breath. So if you lift so far that you can't breathe, definitely we've gone too far. Just bring it back down until you can breathe again. Okay, so let's come over to a prone position, face down on the mat. And we'll do a version of Locust today with the feet wide. So normally Locust is feet close together, but today we'll go wide. And we're also going to reach the arms forward and out, so a bit like a starfish. We're going to bring the nose down to hover close to the mat. So think about lengthening crown of the head and indeed fingertips away from the toes. And then inhale to lift the body off the mat. So focus on lengthening as much as you can to all the points of this starfish. Stay with the breath for 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself into reverse corpse. So resting your chin or your forehead, or come into crocodile, Makarasana. And very gently you can give the hips a tiny little bit of a wriggle. Good. Okay, so now we're going to practice our Cobra. We're going to do a low Cobra first. So let's bring the feet to touch or close together. We want to roll the thighs inwards in Cobra. And in Cobra, we keep the feet connected to the mat. And in fact, it's very useful, especially when we get into the final version where we lift the hands, to really push down into the feet to help you lift at the front of the body. Okay, so feet together, point the toes away, spin the thighs in, and then bring your hands to your chest so that your fingertips are under your shoulders. Then draw your elbows in, so your elbows point back and they're close towards the ribs. I'm going to push down to the hands, push down to the feet, and then send your chest up and forward. So low Cobra, sometimes called baby Cobra. We don't want to go too high up. We'll stay for some breaths. Hips are down, feet are down, knees can be off, thighs spinning in, shoulders back, long neck. Another couple of breaths. And one more breath in. And then slowly release the chest down and bring your hands forward. And take a few moments. Allow the spine to be neutral. And also allow the heart rate to settle. Okay, so we're going to come back. And this time we're going to go into a higher Cobra. We're going to push the floor away more and come up to a lesser bend in the elbows. But in Cobra, we always have a bend in the elbows, okay? So, hands back, fingertips under shoulders, elbows in and elbows pointing back, feet push down, thighs spin in. Push down and send the front of the chest up and see if you can come a little higher. You don't come so high that your hips come off the mat. Lead with your chest and try and lengthen in a lovely even curve with the spine. You can gaze ahead or down to the top of the mat. I prefer down. Okay, nearly there. 2, 1. And bring yourself down slowly. And come back to your resting pose. Allow the energy to settle. Okay, last but not least, we're going to practice low cobra again, but this time we are going to lift the hands off the mat so that we use the deep muscles surrounding the spinal extensors, to lift the chest off the mat. Don't forget, keep your feet down as we practice this version. Okay, bring your hands back, fingertips under shoulders, elbows point back, push down, chest forward, and then keeping the feet on the mat, bring your hands up to shoulder height. Use your muscles in the spine to keep lifting, maybe even lift a little higher. And let's stay for another 3, 2, 1. Slowly come down and rest. Maybe turn your big toes to touch. Good. Stay for another 5 breaths. Good. From here, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So maybe push onto the knees, and actually it might feel nice just to send the hips gently back, not into your deepest child's pose, just to stretch out in the back a little. Walk the knees in, and downward facing dog. Maybe have a little pedal. And then we're going to come to lie on our back, so jump through and take yourself down. And then carefully straighten your left leg and bring your right knee into the chest and give a good squeeze. Maybe a little movement at the ankle. I haven't really done much with the ankles. Okay, now let's take the right knee in the left hand and reach the right arm out. And then bring your knee over to the left, keeping your right shoulder down. Maybe turn to the right. Recline twist. And then gaze back to the center. Bring both knees to the chest, have a little hug in, just gently. And then drop the right foot, straighten and hug the left knee in. Then take your knee with your right hand, bring it as far over as it feels comfortable to go, and stretch out the left arm. Optionally looking over to the left. And then come to the center, bring the knees gently in. And then allow the feet to come onto the mat in constructive rest pose. So in constructive rest, you could have your palms down, but if you want to use this as a shavasana, turn the palms to the ceiling. And then you could stay in your constructive rest for 2 or 3 minutes to allow your back bends to settle in the body. This has been a short practice, but I hope you have found it energizing and inspiring for the rest of your day. Enjoy your rest, and I'll see you soon on the next video. Om Shanti Yogis.